Hello, nice to meet you. My name's Leon Powell. I'm one of the senior coat cutters at Anderson Sheppard. I've been working Anderson Sheppard and the company for 18 years.
So during the 18 years you've been working as a coat maker for us, or do you have an apprenticeship for retailers?
When I started at Anderson Sheppard, I just left university, just completed my fashion degree in design, women's wear. Then I went to Anderson Sheppard and I started as coat making apprenticeship. Normally that would last 4 to 5 years. So from there I spent about 3 years making coats, but then was asked if I'd like to go onto the cutting side, and if I'd like to become an undercutter, which is what we now call an apprentice, and I became a coat undercutter. We very much draft straight on to card with a piece of chalk. It's a very fluid motion. It's almost like nearly drawing onto the card. It has a fluid motion, it has a softness, and I think that's the part which kind of relates into the garment, because if the cutter can transfer that kind of fluid motion onto something that's two-dimensional, and then it's developed into a three-dimensional, that's where you kind of get them nice soft lines, that kind of elegance, softness.
So do you have any most part that you like about the coat?
I'm quite broad-shouldered myself, personally. So for me, I like the shoulders. I like that softness. I think it's the lines, it's that elegance, the lapels. Everything's done for a reason, to create that gentle, soft look. Once again, the tips, the points, we kind of round them off a bit. We don't want them very sharp and pointed, which a lot of tailors do. Once again, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a style choice. But within the DNA of Anderson and Sheppard, it's all about them nice, soft lines.
See that when you were measuring the customers before, that you were looking at the back of the customer and that process?
Measurement process is obviously taking measurements, using the tape measure. It is a tool, but also it's a visual process. We're looking at the gentleman, how he stands, his posture. Does he stand upright? Is he leaning over a little bit? His configuration, the way a man carries himself. So you've got to look at all them little nuances, them little details. Most people aren't symmetrical. Some people might be down on one side or the other, up. So that configuration is incredibly important, because by visualizing that and taking down all that visual information, what we're going to then is transfer that from the individual onto the pattern. So that's when it comes very important with the pattern cutting. Actually, we have a rule. If you measure the customer, you cut the pattern for that customer, because you're taking that knowledge, that visual information that you've observed, and you're transferring it from that moment in time straight onto the pattern. When I first started at Anderson Sheppard, I was told when I'm walking down the street to look at the way people walk, to just watch their movement, watch them relaxed. Actually, when I'm being introduced to a customer, is usually when he's a bit more relaxed. So I'm already making these observations straight away, or as he leaves, I'm watching him how he walks, because he's going to be more natural. A suit, a garment that fits the gentleman when he's relaxed. If you've got a soft suit with the drape, like Anderson and Sheppard, on a gentleman who's relaxed, there's an elegance to it.
I think that a lot of Anderson Sheppard suit is in your wardrobe right now, so can you choose one favorite jacket that you always like to wear?
If you looked in my wardrobe, people would probably be quite disappointed, because I tend to go for anything from kind of mid-blue in colour, a navy blue like I'm wearing today. For me now, it's more about the silhouette and the shape than actually being more bold in cloth selection. I just like that clean look. So in my wardrobe, I probably have 10 double-breasteds that are all blue, all the same spec. They have double-breasted waistcoat with them. Some people might think that's kind of quite bland and boring. What it is over the 18 years at Anderson Sheppard, I've actually really precisely pinpointed what works for me as an individual. So I have little details. I don't have turn-ups on my trousers. In some circles would be considered quite a no-no. The classic style would be to have a turn-up with a double-breasted. because I want to elongate my legs
Yes,
and
yes.
make myself look a little taller.
Yeah.
I don't want like horizontal lines breaking things up. I want a
Yes.
kind of more elongated, straight, stretched look. So it's little quirky things I've kind of discovered about my own posture
Yeah.
and what works for my own figure.
Of course, Korean gentlemen were interested in to participate and then came here and to see this suit. Are you hoping to excited to see more Korean customers?
We've been able to meet some fantastic people. The plan is we come back twice a year. We will bring the fittings back. We will try on the fittings. They get to see how it develops. We get to know the customers. What'll happen is they're going to actually physically be able to see the product.
Yes.
They're going to be able to put on the product. They're going to be able to feel the product. So this is when it gets fun for me, because then I can start looking, once again, using my eyes, using my skill set to be able to make the adaptations and tweaks and adjustments. But I'll be speaking to the customer about how does it feel, asking them to move, twist,
Yes.
having a look at all these little things, talking things through, starting to find what their little quirks are, as in what they like and they don't like about it. Obviously, we've got a DNA. There is a style to what we do, and we're not necessarily going to change that, but we're going to change the suit so it fits them beautifully. And that's the whole plan. So yeah, when we come back, I'm really excited for that. And I think what really happens is maybe after that, because when they really start to realise if they love and like the Anderson Sheppard style, is when they wear it. We usually say to a customer, when they receive a Sheppard suit, wear it, let it relax, let it settle in, because it will. It's cloth, it's a material, but everything's going to just flex and start to shape. With our softener, everything's going to start to mould a little bit and shape to the contours of their physique. The suits I prefer tend to be the ones that are several months old,
Yes,
or a
yes.
few years, because kind of settled into me and they're just all relaxed a little bit. I like that. And I think that's the big test. That's when they start to enjoy it.
Yes.
And what they'll find is it looks incredibly elegant. It's comfortable.
Very much.
Thank you very much for inviting us to Unipair.